हेलो मलिक।
यस सर।
पेन और पेपर लेकर बैठे बेटा। Here is your friend Matiur Rahman and others. So very good morning to you that we are starting the new unit today, and that is unit number 4. Unit number 4 is nothing but on the equilibrium and the beam. So unit number 4 is for equilibrium, equilibrium on equilibrium. In this unit, you will see uh, the equilibrium and the equilibrium, free body diagram, analytical and graphical method of equilibrium, equilibrium force system analytically, and the Lami's theorem. Then types of beam, support, simply hinged, roller and fixed, load acting on the beam, vertical and inclined, point load, UDL, and couple span of the beam. Beam reaction for cantilever, simply supported beam with or without overhang, subjected to combination of point load and UDL load or vertical point load and the couple. Beam reaction graphically for simply supported beam, subjected to vertical loads only. So this is your content of your syllabus. Over here the syllabus content for the unit number 4 with equilibrium and the beam. And the course outcome or unit outcome is draw the force free body diagram for the given condition, determine the unknown force in the given situation using Lami's theorem, identify the types of beam required for the given situation, and determine the reaction in the given type of beam analytically and graphically. So we'll see first one by one what is the learning objective of the today's lecture. So you can, I think so this is visible to you. The learning objective of the this unit number uh, 4, that is equilibrium, is to understand the concept of equilibrium and equilibrium, and an analytical condition of equilibrium. Also to understand the concept of free body and free body diagram, and also application of Lami's theorem to solve three coplanar concurrent force system. This is the learning objective for the your uh, equilibrium. Okay, and then the learning outcome for this unit is nothing but you can able to draw a free body diagram for given condition and determine the unknown force in the given situation using Lami's theorem. So these two outcomes are for the equilibrium and the beam we will see later on. So the unit number 4 is divided in two parts. You say equilibrium, and I will say the second part is your beams. Okay. So we have started the part one, that is equilibrium force, and we have seen the learning uh, objectives and learning outcomes of the these two uh, outcome of the equilibrium. Now, what is the relevance of this unit with respect to real life example? So daily we are watching the operation of the ceiling fan, kids playing seesaw, and operation of the crane. So these are the examples of the uh, equilibrium. These are the examples of the equilibrium. Okay. तो जनरली जो हम लोग देखते हैं कि अ, अब बच्चे जो गार्डन में सी सॉ खेलते हैं, इट इज द वेज and over the wedge there is a platform, and the kids are playing and they are balancing uh, uh, the seesaw like this. Okay, so when we apply the force, then it will come up and it will balance. Then the both force or moment are balanced, then it is at a horizontal position. If one moment or one side force is more, then the situation will be changed, and that is nothing but the kids are playing the this seesaw game. Okay, so this is nothing but the wedge, and on the wedge the platform is there. So the force is where the force is large, it will go down. Otherwise, if both the forces or both the moments are balanced at a distance, that is called as the equilibrium of force. So in this condition, you can say the force is in equilibrium. Okay. Also, the operating cranes, you can see they are lifting the heavy weight, and for balance that weight, the back side of the cranes are counterweight. So generally, when you are seeing the large construction site, so you can see the cranes at high-rise building. If you search the cranes at the high-rise buildings, they are working on the principle of the balancing. So you can see this video, uh, this, this crane. You can see here the crane is going up and up. The installation is going on. Back side of the counterweight, back side of crane is counterweight, and then here you can see the frame is lifted by the crane, and the installation is going on. You can see. When we lift another one, the crane is lifted and it is going up, and simultaneously the installation is going on. So this here you can see the right side, the counterweight is there, and the weight is lifted by the truss made the crane. So that is crane is the example of the equilibrium. You can see. Okay. Very, this is the very good example of equilibrium of your this. Okay. And many such different cranes are there. This is the another type of crane. which are lifting the heavy loads, but there should be the counterbalancing weight at some place. Okay, and that's why this is nothing but you can see the equilibrium of forces. Okay, so if the equilibrium is there, then there is uh, uh, balancing, and that is the example of your. Then the construction of the uh, high-rise structures is also based on the certain uh, balancing force, and that is nothing but you can see the construction of earthquake resistant structure, that is TAPI 101 in the uh, Taiwan, which is fitted with the tuned mass damper for balancing the earthquake force and stabilizing the structure without damaging. So you can see here inside of the TAPI building there is around 101 floor, and from 101 and from 87th floor some suspended the 5.5-meter diameter spare damper with a weight of 660 ton, and that is suspended like this. You can see that is supported by the cables. Okay, and this ball is around 660 ton, and this is how the balancing will done. If there is a force, that is, or wind pressure that tends to the building right side, or at the same time the ball will move to the left side and balancing the building. Vice versa, if the building is uh, lean to the left side, then the ball in the building they will move to the right side and the balancing the building. So this is the TAPI 101 floor building you can see, and the inside of building you can see here from 87 floor to 92 floor. This arrangement is done, and due to this arrangement, the balancing of building is done. Okay, so that is nothing but it is called as tuned mass damper, and it is adjusting. The ball is adjusting itself to balance the building or to avoid the fall of the building. Okay, so that's why the this tall building we are adjusting, and it resists the wind gust and the earthquake by up to the 40%, what it may be said. So that are the examples of the balancing or the equilibrium, you can say. This already video we have seen the crane, the counterweight is attached here, and another side the weight is lifted with this arrangement of the trusses. Okay, so these are the different types of uh, cranes and example, different type of an example of the sorry, example of the equilibrium. So here you can see W1 and W2, two weights are there. W2 is the weight lifted by us, and this distance x2, and W1 is the balancing blocks or concrete blast that is arranged at the place where the moment you can say the M1 is equal to M2. So this moment they are balancing each other. You know the moment M1 moment is nothing but the concept of moments of force you learn in the this your unit number 3, F1 into x1, that is equal to the moment 2, that is f2 into x2. Okay, so this is nothing but your balancing moment, and that's why the operation of this crane is done. So you can see these movements are balancing each other, and that is the example of equilibrium. So this is the example of this your equilibrium. So this uh, now we can see the Prerequisite and post benefit of this unit, what we are going to learn, that is equilibrium. So that is you are learning in engineering mechanics the equilibrium. It also helps in second year, third semester subject, that is mechanics of structure, which is generally known as MOS in short form, and the stress strain. In that you can apply this law of equilibrium. Then theory of structure in the fourth semester of your second year, fourth semester of your second year. So uh, this uh, the the benefits or the prerequisite of the these subjects, that is mechanic of structures and the theory of structure, you will learn. This is for the civil engineering branch, and they will learn this engineering mechanics equilibrium, and that is useful for the subjects for mechanical in the uh, theory of machines, maybe that is useful later on to you, and design of machine also is there. These subjects are useful. Then prerequisite of this uh, uh, unit is applied physics, that is Newton's first law and second law. Then unit number two, unit number one, the mechanics and force system, static and fundamental units we have seen. Fundamental units, that is length, second, and length, time, and uh, your okay, mass. Okay. So force, also we have learned force is uh, force and units of force, characteristics, dose, rotation, system of forces. These all things the content of unit one, which is the prerequisite of this unit number four. Also, we are learning unit number three, orthogonal components and moment of force, this concept, and the resultant of concurrent, coplanar, and parallel force systems. Also, graphical representation of force, space diagram, and polar diagram. These all are the prerequisite of this unit number four, what you are going to learn now. So these are the nothing but called prerequisite, and these knowledge is required to you for learning uh, the current unit, that is unit number four. Now from here onwards we will start the uh, uh, unit number uh, four, that's that is equilibrium of forces. But before going to that, बिफोर गोइंग यानी इक्विलिब्रियम ऑफ फोर्स यूनिट नंबर फोर स्टार्ट करने से पहले हम लोग ने यूनिट नंबर वन में जो पढ़ा और यूनिट नंबर थ्री में जो पढ़ा उसका एक रिकैप करते हैं और फिर हम आगे बढ़ते हैं। तो यूनिट नंबर वन में हमने पढ़ा कि व्हाट इज द मैकेनिक्स। इट इज अ ब्रांच ऑफ फिजिक्स which deals with the study of forces and their effect on the bodies. It may be on the motion or it may at the rest. If the body is in a rest condition, that is called as static, or body in motion, that is called as dynamic body. When the body at motion and the mass of is considered, it is called as kinematics. If the mass is not considered or weight of the body is not considered, then that study of dynamic is called as forces. Sorry, kinematics, only forces are considered. Then we have seen the The example of static, the balancing force are there from right to left and bottom to top. That is the body at rest. That is condition is called static. Dynamic, when body is moving continuously, and their study is called as dynamic. So dynamic is a branch mechanism that gives the forces, forces that is the cause of your action. So the force is a push or pull. It may be push or it may be pull. Then we have seen the difference between the kinematics and the kinetics, uh, and the significance relevance of the subject we have seen. Then we have seen the Newton's laws. What is the Newton's first law? The every object in a state of uniform motion will remain in the state of motion unless external force acts on it. This is the Newton's first law of motion. Okay, so every uh, object in a state of uniform motion will remain in the state of motion unless external force acts on it. This is also known as law of inertia. This is also known as law of inertia of the force. Then Newton's second law, net force equals mass time acceleration. Net force F is equal to mass into acceleration. That is the Newton's second law of motion. And third law is for a reaction there is equal and opposite reaction. So this is Newton's law of motion. The first law of Newton is the body is a state of uniform motion will remain in the state of motion unless an external force acts on it. So every object in the state of uniform motion will remain in the state of motion unless an external force acts on it. And this is also known as law of inertia. And second law is nothing but your force is equal to nothing but mass into or you can say the product of mass into acceleration. So this is the Newton's two laws of motion. Then we have seen the axes, the in space x, y, and z axis, and then location of p, then length, time, and fundamental units we have studied. Then we have studied about the force. What is the force? We have studied about the body. So we have studied the force is nothing but uh, we have studied the fundamental units also, that is mass, length, time, and force. These are the fundamental quantities we already studied in unit number 1, and then we have seen the fundamental units and regard units. Then we seen the definition of your force. Force is an uh, external agency, either push or pull, which changes or tends to change the state of rest or of uniform motion of a body upon which it acts. The force is nothing but external agency. It may be push or pull, which changes of, the state of rest or state of uniform motion of a body on which it acts. And the unit of force is न्यूटन और किलोमीटर. तो फोर्स क्या है कि कोई भी ऑब्जेक्ट जो जमूद की हालत में रुका हुआ है, उसको हम जब तक कोई कोई एक्शन नहीं करते हैं तो वो मूव नहीं होता है, या कोई ऑलरेडी कोई बॉडी और कोई मोशन में है कोई बॉडी और हम उसको अगर डायरेक्शन चेंज कर देते हैं, तो दैट इज नथिंग बट इट इज कॉल्ड फोर्स. ओके. तो जब कोई चीज़ स्ट्रेट ऑफ रेस्ट में है और उसको मोशन मिला है, या कोई मोशन में है उसको स्टॉप कर रहे हैं, all this is nothing but the force. So force is nothing but an external agency, either push or pull, which changes or tends to change the state of rest or uniform motion of a body upon which it acts. Okay. Then the force is nothing but vector quantity, and then we have seen the types of forces uh, uh, on video. This video also you can So, what is the force? Already we have seen. Yes, yes. So there are the forces acting on the board, which make the gravitational force and the normal, and that is the normal force. So this is called as the equilibrium of the force because net force is acting on zero. And the normal force are acting because the plane is the frictionless plane. Okay, this is nothing but force. You are seen in the unit of force is nothing but 1 Newton, and the force is nothing but it is nothing but the mass into acceleration. Yes, second law of uh, Newton's second law. And Newton first law is nothing but about the force if the body in a rest condition it is all or in a uniform motion is always in the uniform of motion or at rest till any external force or external agency is applied. Then effects set in force is nothing but set it in the motion, changes the velocity, stop the motion, change the direction, change the shape. This is the effects of the force on the body. Also, we have seen uh, some. This is Newton's third law. Also, we have seen the concept of force. We have seen with different examples, and then what are the characteristics of the force? Force should be having a magnitude, force having a point of action, force having a line of action, and force having a direction. Okay, so that's why we are representing force as a vector quantity because it has a magnitude as well as direction. That's why the force is the vector quantity. So all these things we have seen in unit number one, and that is nothing but uh, required for the understand for the unit number three. Also, we have seen the system of forces, and that is the coplanar, collinear. If the forces in one line, then that is called as collinear force system. Coplanar means in single plane. Then system of forces we all learn about system of forces. We learn uh, we learn in unit number one. Then coplanar concurrent force system. If the forces are meeting at single point, this is called as concurrent force system. Here also you can see the forces are meeting at single point. Three forces are there: tension T1, tension T2, and the weight W. They are meeting at one point. Then that is concurrent force system. If this is in one plane, then the coplanar concurrent force system. Also, the coplanar non-concurrent force system. If the forces they are not meeting at one point, their line of action are different. This system of forces are called as non-concurrent force system. If they are all the forces in one plane, then this is called as coplanar non-concurrent force system. Then coplanar parallel force system are there. If the all the forces are parallel to each other, if they are in one direction, acting in one direction, this is called as a like parallel. This is called as the like parallel force system. If the forces are acting in parallel opposite to each other, that is called as unlike parallel force system. This already we have covered in unit number one. Then non-coplanar concurrent force system. With the forces they are not in a plane, but they are meeting at one point, but they are acting on different plane. They are called as the non-coplanar concurrent force system. And then generalized force system we have seen where non-coplanar or non-concurrent forces are there on the system. These are called as a general force system. So this is what in unit number one you have seen, and cause notation system of forces, and then in unit number three also we have seen uh, several unit number three. If you go for the unit number three, in unit number three also uh, we have learned many things about the forces, resolution and composition of forces we have learned, and uh, that is nothing but the prerequisite of the your this unit number four, that is uh, resultant of concurrent coplanar and parallel force system. graphical representation of force system, space diagram, and polar diagram. All these things we already seen in the our uh, previous lectures in unit number 4 also. So this is non-concurrent because the forces they are not meeting at one point. That's why they are called non-concurrent forces meeting one point. They are concurrent force system. And then composition of force, when the two forces are adding to each other, they are called as composition of force. Composition of forces means the addition of forces. The addition of forces can be done by the vector addition. And for that, if two forces we are adding, then by law of parallelogram of forces, we are using to add two forces. Then the force F1 and F2, you can find out the resultant, that is resultant R addition of these forces. You have to make the parallel line to the force F1 and F2, and then you draw the triangle DEC, and from that you can able to find out the resultant R, that is AC, and tan of alpha, that is this alpha, this angle with the resultant, you can find out easily, and that is nothing but f2 sine theta divided by f1 plus f2 cos theta, that is tan alpha, and the resultant of this uh, two force system is nothing but under root of f1 square plus f2 square plus 2 f1 f2 cos theta. Already this derivation we have seen using the Pythagoras theorem. Then the what cases of the forces, if there is 90 degree, then resultant will be the under root of f1 square plus f2 square, because the angle making a 90 degree, cos 90 is the 0, so this term will be 0, then only left this f1 and f2. That's why when theta is 90 degree, then result will be under root of f1 square plus f2 square. Also when theta is 0 and the forces are in the same direction, then they are simply addition of the force. जैसे 1 + 1 2 करते हैं इसी तरह if the forces in a single line, theta is 180 degree, but because theta is 180 degree, the force is opposite to each other. This is the 180 degree, so that's why the simple subtraction will be there, and final sign plus or minus shows the direction of resultant. Now we are seeing the triangle law of forces. It is also for the uh, two two forces, P and Q are there, then the line closing the triangle is nothing but resultant, but it will be the opposite direction. So that is nothing but the uh, the triangle law of forces, and this is nothing but the graphical method we can do. First, we will draw the force P uh, with certain scale as per Gauss decision parallel to the force P, and then that is we have denoted the space diagram A and B. There is A to B. The force is 10 kilonewton, 10 Newton, and the 10 centimeter is 10 Newton is equal to 1 centimeter. Then 10 centimeter line will represent the force, and direction you will be shown by the arrow. Then similarly, you have to draw the another line to start from the B to C. B to C is the force P, that's Q, and if it is 8 kilonewton, 8 Newton, so then 8 centimeter line you have to draw, and that is nothing but B to C. And then when you join the A to C, this will give the resultant of the force. So this, if the oblique force system is there, then the triangle law of forces, the graphical method we can use to find out the resultant of the two concurrent force system. दो concurrent force system, concurrent means एक जगह मिलने वाले, तो ये जो लॉ है ट्राइंगल लॉ ऑफ फोर्स और पैरेलल लॉ ऑफ फोर्स, उसमें लिमिटेशन क्या है, दोनों के लिए सिर्फ दो कंकरेंट फोर्स सिस्टम चाहिए टू फाइंड आउट द रिजल्ट. देन द पॉलीगॉन लॉ ऑफ पॉलीगॉन ऑफ फोर्सेस हम लोग ने देखा कि नंबर ऑफ फोर्स एक्ट हो रहा है पॉइंट 8 पॉइंट पर, तो कंकरेंट फोर्स सिस्टम, देन हाउ टू फाइंड आउट द रिजल्टेंट. Similarly, you have to in space diagram you have to write out the A, B, C, D in space, and as for the speed and direction, you have to draw the line from A to B. A to B represents the force F1, and its direction is towards northwest. So you have to write down. Then B to C is the vertical, that is towards north. So you have to uh, whatever the scale you are taken, as per scale you have to draw the figure, and then when the last point, that E and A, when you are joined with the dotted line, this is nothing but resultant R in the vector diagram. This is also the any graphical method to find out the resultant using the law of polygon of forces. All these things we have seen the in uh, unit number two. Sorry, three. Also, the sine rule you have seen. Uh, Two forces F1 and F2, they are oblique to each other, so resultant will be the F, and that can be find out by drawing a F1 force by the Bose notation and F2 force, and then line drawing. This is nothing but F, or you can F, you can differentiate like this, uh, and that applying the rule of sine F1 is equal to F sine beta divided by sine of alpha plus beta. F2 F sine alpha, the opposite force. If you have take the F2, then opposite angle is the sine, so F sine alpha, F sine alpha, or if you can see the sine alpha is nothing but sine alpha is nothing but opposite of an adjacent. So that is F2 is equal to F sine alpha divided by the angle sine alpha plus beta. So this is nothing but sine rule, and then orthogonal component, when the force is divided in two component orthogonally. If orthogonal means 90 degree. So you can see the F is divided into two, the Fx and Fy. So Fx is nothing but F cos theta, Fy is nothing but F sin theta. Okay, so sin theta is opposite upon F, so Fy is F sin theta, Fx is F cos theta. Here theta is the angle made by given for F with the horizontal axis. That should be remember, every angle you should be with the horizontal axis only, that is x-axis. So you can see the theta 1, theta 2, theta 3 and theta 4 all are representing with the horizontal axis only. Okay, so that's why each angle you should denote by the horizontal axis. And then you are seeing the resolution of forces and how to find out the resultant, and tan theta by resolution of the forces. Then we have seen the sign conventions of resolution of forces, and then we have seen the concept of moment of force. Okay, that moment is equal to nothing but product of force into distance. So if I will find out the moment from the m1, the m1 will be nothing but the force F into the distance x1. So f1 into x1 is nothing but moment of the force. Then you have seen the Briggs's theorem, that is the algebraic sum of moments of all forces is equal uh, to forces about any point is equal to the moment of resultant of all the forces. So here we can see the summation of MP and all the forces moment of all the forces is equal to the resultant into the distance at some point. So here the point P is there. From P, if you are taking the moment F1, F2, F3, and that will be the Briggs's thing. All these things, the prerequisite for the unit number 4, equilibrium of force, what we are going to study uh, today itself. So that is the nothing but we have taken the uh, revision of the unit number 1 and uh, unit number 3 to learn the unit number 4, that is the uh, equilibrium of force and the okay. Very poor attendance in the uh, this class, extra class. It is very bad for me. For unit 4 is nothing but the equilibrium we are started today. Now we will come to the equilibrium of force. What is the equilibrium of force? So any system of forces that keeps the body at rest is said to be in equilibrium. That is, the state of body is not affected by the action of the force system in equilibrium. Equilibrium is applicable to those system of forces whose resultant action is zero. जैसे कि हम लोग ने बॉल का एग्जाम्पल देखा था पहले यूनिट में, तो बॉल इज रेस्टिंग ऑन द ग्राउंड, it is not moving, so there is the force of gravitational force, and simultaneously the normal force is exerted by the ground, that is the normal force. Because though these two forces are equal, and it means that the net force the net force on the body is, or on the ball is zero. That's why it is not moving. So that is called as the state of equilibrium. So that is said to be a state of or condition of equilibrium. So this is the concept of equilibrium. You can see the any body, if it is state of rest or forces on acting on the body, if their resultant action is zero, it means that uh, the R is equal to zero. That is resultant action will be zero, then it is called as uh, or you can say the net force is zero. Net force is zero, then it is called as the equilibrium of the force. It is called as equilibrium of the force. And the number of force acting on a body which keep the body in rest condition is said to be equilibrium. Okay. Similarly, the equilibrium. What is the equilibrium? A force that brings the system of force in equilibrium is known as equilibrium. So any force that is the uh, brings the system of forces, it is the opposite of the reaction, resultant is this, and the equilibrium will be the opposite direction and same magnitude. So this is called as equilibrium equilibrium force. Okay, equilibrium force. So you can see this here example. If this is the system of force, the F2, F1 are the system of forces. Their resultant is R. This is R. This is called a resultant. And then opposite to that, if you opposite to the same magnitude and opposite direction, if the force is there, then that is called as equilibrium. तो आप समझ में आ जाएंगे इक्विलिब्रियम किसको बोलते हैं कि अगर सिस्टम ऑफ फोर्स है, नंबर ऑफ फोर्सेस आर देयर, अगर मैं लेता हूँ कि यहाँ पर मेरा फोर्स F1 है, ये फोर्स F2 है, और फिर इसका जो रिजल्टन है वो रिजल्टन R है। तो R का जो मैग्नीट्यूड है, अगर ये फॉर एग्जांपल 20 न्यूटन है और इसके अपोजिट में अगर हम कोई फोर्स अप्लाई करते हैं बॉडी को इक्विलिब्रियम में रखने के लिए 20 न्यूटन का ही, तो ये फोर्स पे क्या बोलते हैं हम लोग, इट इज कॉल्ड एज इक्विली इक्विलिब्रियंट इक्विलिब्रियंट। So this is nothing but equilibrium force. Equilibrium force is nothing but opposite in direction of the resultant, but the magnitude is same to keep the body in equilibrium. So this is nothing but equilibrium, and a force that bring the system force equilibrium is known as equilibrium. It always equal, opposite, and collinear with the resultant of the system. इक्वल है मैग्नीट्यूड, यहाँ पर 20 न्यूटन है, ये भी 20 न्यूटन है, बट द डायरेक्शन इज चेंजिंग, है ना, डायरेक्शन इज अपोजिट। कोलिनियर यानी देयर लाइन ऑफ एक्शन इज सेम। कोलिनियर मीन्स दिस इज द कोलिनियर। कोलिनियर मीन्स द लाइन ऑफ एक्शन इज same. So the resultant and equilibrium, the line of action is same. That is, it is called as collinear. Opposite, equal means equal in magnitude. This 20 Newton, this is 20 Newton, this is also 20 Newton, and it means that equal in magnitude. So that is called as equilibrium. When a system of force in equilibrium, its equilibrium is equilibrium, and resultant both are zero. So they both are zero with the system of forces in equilibrium. Now, what are the conditions of equilibrium? What are the conditions of uh, equilibrium, or analytical conditions of equilibrium? If you know that the system of forces are there, okay, forces are there, and you know that the resultant of the system of forces, resultant R is equal to 0. R is equal to 0, when the net force is equal to 0, then we will see that the the body is in equilibrium. When R is equal to 0, the body is in equilibrium. Equilibrium. It means that uh, R is nothing but you know that under root of fx square plus fy square, or this is the summation of fx square and summation of fy square is nothing but your resultant. So if resultant is 0, it means that uh, under root of summation of fx is equal to 0, summation of fy square, it is nothing but 0. It means that summation of fx is equal to 0 and summation of y equal to 0. Summation of fx is equal to 0 and summation of fy is equal to 0 if the forces are coplanar concurrent force system. Concurrent force system means the forces meeting at the one point. Okay, this is the nothing but the forces meeting at one point. They are said to be the concurrent force system. Okay. Now, for the non-covalent, non-concurrent force system, you know that there are uh, that is R is equal to, here also the summation of fx is equal to 0, summation of Fy is equal to 0. Also, as per the Grignon's theorem, summation of moment of all the forces nothing but resultant into resistance x. If the value of resultant is 0, so summation of m, the summation of moment is also is equal to 0. So this is the for condition of equilibrium for the non-concurrent force system, coplanar non-concurrent force system. So here you can see these are the conditions of equilibrium of if the concurrent force system is there, your summation of Fx is equal to 0. Okay, summation of Fy is equal to 0, and if this is coplanar non-concurrent force system, the summation of Fx is equal to 0, summation of Fy is equal to 0, and summation of m is equal to 0. So summation of all the horizontal force is equal to 0. It is summation of Fx. Summation of all vertical forces are 0. That is summation of Fy. Summation of all moment about any point is equal to 0. That is the condition of equilibrium of coplanar non-concurrent force system. तो मेरे ख्याल से आपको समझ में आ गया होगा इक्विलिब्रियम क्या है इक्विलिब्रियम क्या है इक्विलिब्रियम इज द forces they are acting uh, on a body and the body is at the state of rest, it is not moving, it is balancing and their resultant is equal to 0, is called as the equilibrium condition. Okay, or you can say that uh, net force net force that is resultant is equal to 0, and then we can say that body at the rest, and the force which uh, balances the r is equal to 0 is called as equilibrium. So equilibrium always it is act if this is the forces Fx and Fy, and the resultant force is r, and opposite to the resultant force in the same line of action if the another force is there, and that is called as equilibrium. If equilibrium is nothing but opposite to the resultant but in equal magnitude and collinear and same line of action. तो अगर हम इक्विलिब्रियम बोलते हैं तो इट इज इक्वल मैग्नीट्यूड टू रिजल्टेंट, इक्वल मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ रिजल्टेंट force, opposite direction of the resultant force, of our resultant force, and it is collinear. Collinear means to the resultant force. Okay, so that is the nothing but equilibrium. Okay, so this is nothing but equilibrium forces. Then we will see in the condition of equilibrium. What are the conditions of equilibrium? That is the summation of Fx is equal to 0, summation of Fy is equal to 0, and for non-concurrent flow system, that is R value is 0, the summation of m is equal to 0, the additional term, that is nothing but the conditions of equilibrium. Okay, so these are the conditions of equilibrium of the forces in C and uh, equilibrium of the force. Okay. So for coplanar concurrent force system, if the forces are concurrent force system, if the forces they are meeting at one point, this is the concurrent force system. But if the forces they are not meeting at one point on the body, then this system of force is called a non-concurrent force system, and then the condition of equilibrium for these forces are different other than the so this is the conditions of equilibrium for non-concurrent force system. Summation of Fx is equal to 0, summation of y is equal to 0, and summation of moment is equal to 0. If the coplanar and concurrent force system, only two conditions: summation of Fx is equal to 0 and summation of y is equal to 0. And this equilibrium condition will tend to body at rest. It will not move because the net force acting on the body is nothing but तो समझ में आ गया तो that is nothing but the conditions of equilibrium. तो अभी हम लोग ने क्या क्या देखा? You are seeing now the equilibrium of force. You have seen now the equilibrium that is opposite to the resultant with equal magnitude and same line of action. And then we have seen the condition of analytical condition of equilibrium of forces, that is for the concurrent force system and for the non-concurrent force system. Now we will see the what is the free body and the free body diagram. Okay, what is the free body? Free body is considered a body is resting at against various support, and suppose all such supports are replaced by their action exerted on a body, such body is known as free body. Okay, if the number of if the forces if this ball, I will say if the ball is hanging, so this is wall you are saying. Okay, and this is the rope or string is attached to the body, to the ball, and this is the ball. The forces on the ball is acting. If you replace the ball or represent the ball separately other than the supports conditions and all, then this is called as a free body diagram. If you this is called as free body, and the diagram made for the free body is nothing but it is called as free body diagram. You can see the force tension T, weight W, and if you exert the pressure to the wall, that is also force. Likewise, you can prepare a free body diagram. And free body is nothing but when the body is in equilibrium condition under any system of forces, then the body is separated from the surroundings. Such body is known as free body. The surrounding means this surrounding string and wall you are replacing or removing, that body is called as free body. Okay, and when a diagram of body in which the body under consideration is freed from all the contact surface and all the forces action on it, including the reaction contact surfaces are drawn, is called as free body diagram. When all the active and reactive force acting on the free body are shown, and thus diagram obtained is called as a free body diagram. This is the two definitions. When all the active and reactive forces will separate from the body, then that diagram is called as free body diagram. So When all the active and the reactive forces on the free body are shown in the diagram is known as free body diagram. Active forces, self-weight, applied force, reactive forces, reaction offered by the base, wall, cables, strings and supports. These are the reactive forces. Active forces, what we are, it is nothing but the self-weight and the applied forces. So this is nothing but the free body diagram. So when you see the example of free body diagram, now you see here the ball is resting. The ball is resting on the surface. So this surface or on table you can say or on ground you say the ball is resting. Okay, at a rest position. If you draw the free body diagram of the ball, so you can draw what you will draw. The this is the ball. So you are the reaction R will come up and the self weight of the ball W. So this is the free body diagram of this ball resting. Okay. Similarly, second example you will say the ball hanging on the smooth surface. The ball hanging on the smooth surface. So this is the ball. You can see here the ball is there. Then this is the string. The ball is attached with this string. Okay, and the self weight of the ball. So what is the free body diagram? This is the ball. This one is your ball. Okay. So ball is due to the self weight, the gravitational weight W, and then tension will come to the string in opposite direction of W, that is T. Since it is inclined, that's why it is inclined. And then the ball exert reaction with the wall, that is R. So this is nothing but called as free body diagram. Or or I will make this free body diagram because all the forces acting at one point. I will write the R. This is the reaction from the wall, and this T is the tension in the string, and this is W is the self-effect. So this is nothing but you can say is the FBD of the given figure. So FBD of the ball hanging hanging on a smooth surface. On on smooth surface. So this is the free body diagram of this ball hanging with the और अगर एग्जैक्टली इसका हम ड्रॉ करें तो फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम सिर्फ क्या हो जाएगा इट इज नथिंग बट is a point we are showing we are meeting at one point or and that is the nothing but the free body diagram of this ball resting on the TV the ball resting. Then here the ladder is at the smooth surfaces to smooth surface wall and the ground. The ladder is uh, inclined and resting on the ground, and it is also resting on the smooth surface of wall. So what will be the free body diagram of this ladder? So because the ladder is inclined, so I will draw the inclined line. This is the ladder, and at the center of the ladder, at the CG, the weight of self weight of the uh, ladder acting downward, that is W. Then here the reaction force, friction force, which opposes the motion, that is F1, and then reaction force from the ground, that is R1 at this point, and at this point at the wall there is also reaction from the wall, that is R2, and also the friction from the wall, that is F2. That is nothing but free body diagram of the your ladder. Okay. So you can understand the difference. Really, what is the free body diagram and what is the free body? Okay, all the students are there. I think so. Okay, so this is nothing but uh, called as the free body diagram. So that is the free body diagram of this is the free body FBD. अगर मैं लिखूं free body diagram of FBD of the ladder. FBD of the okay. Any such type of system of forces are there, and if you are doing, then that is nothing but the free for representing without that body only the simply with the forces, then that is called as free body diagram. है ना? Only you can see in this fi- uh, figure, you have seen only the forces only, and that is called as free body diagram. Okay, तो अगर हम uh, और सिंपल ब्लॉक अगर हम ले, if you are block resting on the ground, the block that is resting on the ground, it is having some weight, and that weight is nothing but W. First, I will make a block, simply block. Now, W is the weight of the block. So I will write W is the weight of the block. Block, and R is the reaction. Reaction exerted exerted by the ground. By the ground. So what is the free body diagram of this block? That is the weight W and the reaction. So that is the free body diagram of this block. Okay. So that is nothing but you can see the the weight is acting downward. That is weight of the block, and the reaction is exerted from the ground. That is R. And when we draw the BD, we can draw like this. So this is the concept how the free body diagram is shown. The representation of the forces acting on our body without showing the surrounding is called as the free body diagram. तो जहाँ पर हम बॉडी के आसपास का जो सराउंडिंग है उसको निकाल देते हैं और सिर्फ उसको रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं विद द फोर्स सिस्टम से, तो दे आर कॉल्ड एज दे आर कॉल्ड एज फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम. इट इज द फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम ऑफ द लेटर. ठीक है, यहाँ तक आपको समझ में आ गया. सबसे पहले हम लोग ने क्या देखा? इक्विलिब्रियम ऑफ द फोर्सेस. ओके, इक्विलिब्रियम किसको बोलते हैं? अगर आपका R जीरो है, there is net force acting on any body is zero, then that is called as equilibrium. When the number of forces act on a body which keep the body in rest condition is said to be equilibrium. When the number of forces act on a body which keep the body in rest condition is said to be in equilibrium. तो कोई भी बॉडी पर बहुत सारे फोर्स एक्ट हो रहे हैं, लेकिन वो फोर्स बॉडी को मूव नहीं कर रहे हैं, इक्विलिब्रियम कंडीशन में रखे हुए हैं, रेस्ट कंडीशन में हैं, तो उसको क्या बोलेंगे हम लोग? बॉडी, ऑल द फोर्सेस दे आर इन इक्विलिब्रियम. दैट्स व्हाई द बॉडी इज इन इक्विलिब्रियम. सब जो फोर्सेस उस पर एक्ट हो रहे हैं वो इक्विलिब्रियम में है, मसावत में है. इसलिए हमारी बॉडी जो है वो जमूद की हालत में रेस्ट कंडीशन में है, वो मूव नहीं हो रही है, वो उस पर एक्शन होने के बाद भी मूव नहीं हो रही है. इसका मतलब ये है कि उस पर जो नेट फोर्स आ रहा है, उस पर जो रिजल्टेंट फोर्स आ रहा है, दैट इज नथिंग बट the net force is nothing but zero. That's why that body is not moving. तो इसको क्या बोलते हैं हम इक्विलिब्रियम कंडीशन बोलते हैं या इक्विलिब्रियम बोलते हैं. Okay, the equilibrium of forces is applicable to those system of force whose resultant action is. फिर हमने देखा what is equilibrium. The opposite force with the equilibrium is called equilibrium. The magnitude of equilibrium is similar to the resultant, whatever the magnitude, but its direction is opposite. Also, the line of action of resultant and equilibrium are the same. Not equilibrium, there is equilibrium. The equilibrium and the resultant always they are in collinear, always they are in opposite direction, always their magnitude are same. समझ में आ गया. तो हमेशा जो इक्विलिब्रियंट है रिजल्टेंट के उल्टा रहेगा, उसका मैग्नीट्यूड सेम रहेगा. अगर रिजल्टेंट 10 किलो न्यूटन है तो इक्विलिब्रियंट भी 10 किलो न्यूटन का रहेगा. और उनका लाइन ऑफ एक्शन यानी वो लोग वो जो फोर्स है एक ही लाइन में रहेंगे, कोलिनियर रहेंगे. दैट इज द कंसेप्ट ऑफ इक्विलिब्रियंट इन इक्विलिब्रियम. ओके, देन यू हैव सीन the condition of equilibrium for concurrent force system. It is summation of Fx is equal to 0, summation of y is equal to 0. In non-concurrent force system, is summation of Fx is equal to 0, summation of y is equal to 0, summation of moment is equal to 0. These are the conditions of equilibrium or the concurrent and non-concurrent force system. फिर हमने देखा कि फ्री बॉडी क्या है, कि बॉडी जो इक्विलिब्रियम कंडीशन में है अंडर एनी सिस्टम ऑफ फोर्स, उसको हम उसके सराउंडिंग से अलग कर देते हैं, तो ऐसी बॉडी को हम फ्री बॉडी बोलते हैं, है ना. और फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम क्या बोलते हैं, अ डायग्राम ऑफ बॉडी इन विच body under consideration is freed from all the contact surface, all the forces acting on it, including the reaction and contact surfaces, are drawn is called free body diagram. तो बिगैर किसी सराउंडिंग के, बिगैर किसी बॉडी के हम अगर बॉडी पे जो फोर्सेस है उसको सिर्फ ड्रॉ करते हैं, तो इसको हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं, फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम बोलते हैं. इसको क्या बोलते हैं हम लोग, फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम बोलते हैं. कि हमने जो सिर्फ फोर्सेस को शो किया है और हमने बॉडी भी शो नहीं किया, उसके सराउंडिंग को भी शो नहीं किया है, तो ऐसी डायग्राम को क्या बोलते हैं, फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम बोलते हैं. इसके 3 एग्जांपल हमने देखा, बॉल रेस्टिंग ऑन ग्राउंड, बॉल हैंगिंग ऑन वॉल एंड लेडर रेस्टिंग एंड सपोर्टिंग ऑन वॉल. ये 3 कंडीशंस हमने इक्विलिब्रियम के देखे और उसका फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम बनाया. ऑल्सो फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम, ब्लॉक रेस्टिंग ऑन द ग्राउंड, यू कैन ड्रॉ it. Also, if the bulb is hanging from the roof, you can also draw the free body diagram. Now, what is the application of free body diagram? A free body diagram is help in analyzing the equilibrium of, of a constrained body. A free body diagram is helpful in finding the reaction at the supports and internal forces in the member of frames and trusses. So this free body diagram was very helpful to find out the internal and external internal forces of the members in a truss or the frame, and also finding out the reactions and the supports, etc. Now we will come to the uh, Lami's theorem. Lami's theorem is if three forces acting at a point are in equilibrium, each forces will be proportional to the sine of angle between the two other forces. अगर 3 फोर्सेस सिस्टम ऑफ फोर्सेस है, यहाँ पर आप देखेंगे आई विल से पी एक फोर्स है, क्यू अनदर फोर्स है और अनदर फोर्स है. ओके, इफ आई विल से पी, अगर पी इज नथिंग बट 3 force acting on a point are equilibrium, each force will be proportional to the sine of the angle between other two forces. तो अगर मैं यहाँ पर P अगर मैं बोलता हूँ P is proportional to the sine of the angle between the other two forces. तो P के अपोजिट में 2 फोर्सेस कौन सा है, एक तो Q है और दूसरा कौन सा है, R है. तो एंगल जो क्यू ओ आर बना रहा है, एंगल मेड बाय क्यू ओ आर इज नथिंग बट साइन ऑफ एंगल लेना है, so that is साइन बीटा. So what is the, if you will write, so p by sine beta, p by sine beta is equal to constant, equal to some constant. ओके, तो इसको क्या बोलते हैं हम लोग, लामीस थ्योरम. क्या बोलते हैं, लामीस थ्योरम. अब इसी तरह अगर हम देखेंगे कि क्यू अगर ले हम, तो क्यू सिमिलरली क्या हो जाएगा, अगर सी को क्यू को लो, तो क्यू के अपोजिट में जो एंगल है वो कौन सा है, ये वाला है. क्या बोलते हैं उसको, हम लोग बोलते हैं दैट इज कॉल्ड एज गैमा. क्या बोलते हैं इसको, इज कॉल्ड एज गैमा. तो क्यू अपॉन साइन ऑफ गैमा इज इक्वल टू कांस्टेंट. Similarly, now R is the another force. The angle opposite to R is nothing but this alpha. Okay, so sine of alpha is equal to constant. तो क्या हो गया, साइन रूल हो गया. दिस इज साइन रूल बोल रहा हूँ, लाइनिस थ्योरम हो गया. दिस इज लाइनिस थ्योरम इज इक्वल टू P अपॉन साइन बीटा is equal to Q upon sin alpha is equal to, sorry, sin gamma, Q upon sin gamma and R upon sin of alpha. This is nothing but your लामीस थ्योरम. समझ में आया. तो क्या है लामीस थ्योरम, लामीस थ्योरम बोलता है if three forces acting at a point are in equilibrium, then each force will be proportional to the sine of angle between other two forces. तो साइन ऑफ एंगल, तो यहाँ पर साइन क्यू ओ आर आएगा. साइन क्यू ओ आर इज नथिंग बट साइन बीटा. अगर हम साइन बीटा इधर लेके जाएं, तो इट इज साइन क्यू अपॉन साइन बीटा इज इक्वल टू कांस्टेंट. Similarly, Q upon sin gamma is equal to constant. Similarly, R upon sin alpha is equal to constant. When you write the constant at one place, P upon sin beta is equal to Q upon sin alpha and R is equal to R upon sin alpha. This is nothing but the Lami's theorem. Lami's theorem भी आपको समझ में आ गया, I think so. It is very simple. It is very simple. So this you will understand, and we will try to make a solve the uh, uh, problems based on the Nazi-Lamis theorem and based and drawing the free body diagram also. तो आपको इक्विलिब्रियम फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम ये आपको समझ में आ गया. अब लामीस थ्योरम जो है उसकी सम लिमिटेशंस है. क्या लिमिटेशंस है लामीस थ्योरम की, क्या लिमिटेशंस है. लिमिटेशन ऑफ लामीस थ्योरम इज नथिंग बट इज अप्लीकेबल ओनली. पहला अगर हम बोलें तो द थ्योरम इज अप्लीकेबल ओनली इफ द बॉडी इज इन इक्विलिब्रियम. So it is applicable only if the body is in equilibrium. Otherwise, this theorem will be not applicable. So this is applicable only. Coulombic theorem is applicable only if the body is in equilibrium. So applicability only only if the body is in equilibrium. So this one the first limitation, and the second limitation is only for the concurrent force system. So it is applicable. Nernst theorem is applicable to only concurrent force system, means only the forces meeting at one point. Okay, this is the Nernst theorem. Then the theorem is not applicable for more than three forces. So Lami's theorem, is not applicable not applicable to more or less than than three concurrent concurrent forces. तो ये भी उसका तीसरा लिमिटेशन है. And fourth one, theorem is theorem is not applicable to for non-coplanar force system. तो अगर आपका फोर्सेस एक प्लेन में नहीं है, आपका फोर्स एक कंकरेंट नहीं है, और फोर्स 3 से कम या 3 से ज़्यादा है, तो ये जो लामीस थ्योरम है ये एप्लीकेबल नहीं है. तो दैट्स वाई. और एक कंडीशन है कि अगर आपकी जो फोर्सेस है वो इक्विलिब्रियम में नहीं है, तो ये थ्योरम आपका एप्लीकेबल नहीं है. तो दीज आर द लिमिटेशंस ऑफ द लामीस थ्योरम. Now there are necessary conditions, also necessary conditions necessary conditions conditions for application of application of Lami's theorem. Lami's theorem. तो क्या है Lami's theorem? तो हमको मालूम है. What is the Lami's theorem? It is nothing but P upon sine beta, Q upon sine gamma, and R upon sine alpha. Okay, this is the Lami's theorem. And the conditions, necessary condition, you can say. You see the first condition, out of three forces, one force must be thrown out of three forces. Three forces, one force value should be known, should be नोन, मालूम रहना चाहिए कम से कम एक फोर्स की वैल्यू आउट ऑफ पी क्यू आर। तो फोर्सेस आर नथिंग बट पी क्यू आर, फोर्सेस आर नथिंग बट पी क्यू एन आर। इनमें से कोई भी एक फोर्स आपको मालूम रहना चाहिए, कंडीशन नेसेसरी कंडीशन है लामीज थ्योरम को सॉल्व करने के लिए। दूसरा क्या है, आउट ऑफ these थ्री एंगल्स two angles must be known. Out of three angles, that is alpha, beta and gamma, any any two angles must be must be known. Okay, these are the necessary conditions for the Ramis theorem. And third one, so Lami's theorem is applicable only three forces, three three coplanar concurrent force system. Applicable only three coplanar concurrent forces forces keep the body keep the body keep the body keep the body at rest, or you can say in equilibrium. Okay, बस एक दो मिनट में खत्म हो जाएगा, अब लीव मत कीजिए प्लीज, हो गया हमारा। देन fourth condition will be Lami's theorem is based on the sine rule for solving a triangle, and it is relationship between the side and the angle opposite to it. But sometimes problem like jib crane, the three lengths with length of tie, jib and post are given. In such a case, use cosine rule should be made first to solve the triangle, and then Lami's theorem can be applied. So this is the Lami's theorem based on the sine rule. Lami's theorem is based on the Lami's theorem is based on based on based on sine rule. Sine rule for solving a triangle, and it is a relationship between side, the force and the angle opposite to it. Okay, and it is a relationship between side and force. So that's why this is the use of the Lami's theorem. Reaction at the point of contact, tension in the string, inclination of string with the vertical, angle between the forces, unknown forces. So these all about the Lami's theorem. We will solve the example, some example tomorrow, and then come to know the equilibrium and how to find out the solutions with it. So thank you for joining. If you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll leave. And your friends, they are not taking serious the classes. Told them to take the serious. It's very you around 31 students and 3 to 4 students present is not good for the classes. Thank you.